God's chosen ones, only the most powerful among you will relate to these symptoms. Dear chosen ones, prepare yourselves, because what you've been feeling lately is not random, it's not coincidence, and it is certainly not something the majority around you will understand. In fact, if you've been trying to explain it to others and they look at you like you're crazy, that's your first confirmation that you are being called into a realm of experience that is reserved for the few. You've probably noticed it already. You no longer relate to most people the way you used to. You see through things they are still hypnotized by. You feel emotions more deeply and intensely than ever before. You sense subtle shifts in energy and atmosphere that others cannot even begin to explain. And though part of you may have questioned, why am I like this? Why does this feel so overwhelming sometimes? I am here to tell you it's not a flaw, it's a signal. A signal that your spirit was never designed for average existence. You are not here to merely blend in. You have been chosen for something far greater than surviving another day. And with that elevated spiritual assignment comes a very different kind of experience. A different kind of struggle, a deeper kind of transformation. It brings symptoms that will challenge you, humble you, and at times make you question your very sanity until you finally awaken to the truth of what is really happening beneath the surface. Only the most powerful of chosen ones, those with the highest calling and the deepest purpose, go through these specific spiritual symptoms. And it's not because you are weak or broken. It's because your soul is undergoing a recalibration process to prepare you for a life far beyond the limitations of the physical world. If even one of these signs resonates with you, know this: you are not just awakening. You are being restructured, elevated, and aligned for a rare and sacred path, one that is anchored in divine purpose, supernatural protection, and powerful spiritual alignment. And today we are going to walk through these signs together, so you can finally understand what your body, your emotions, and your energy have been trying to tell you all along. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to those of you who have supported this channel through the Super Thanks option. Every donation, no matter the size, helps me continue creating this content and sharing these messages with all of you around the world. And whether you choose to donate or not, please know this: your presence here is already a gift. Your energy, your time, and your openness are deeply appreciated. Now, if your spirit is already resonating with what I've said so far, if you feel that inner nudge that you are in the right place at the right time, I want you to take a moment right now and type the number 777 in the comments. That number is a divine signal of spiritual alignment and confirmation. Let it be your way of declaring to yourself and to this community, I am ready, I am chosen, I am aligned with this path. Now take a deep breath, chosen one. Prepare your heart and mind, because by the end of this message, you will see your symptoms not as burdens but as powerful confirmations of who you truly are and what you are being prepared to become. Let's begin. God's chosen ones, only the most powerful among you will relate to these symptoms. Chosen one. Have you ever wondered why, even after a full night's sleep, 8 hours, maybe more, and even after eating well and taking care of yourself physically, you still wake up feeling like your body has been hauling bricks through unseen realms all night? Why does this exhaustion linger in your bones, no matter how well you seem to care for your outer shell? Let me tell you something that only the most powerful among the chosen truly understand. What you are feeling is not ordinary fatigue. It is not the weariness of the body, but the burden of spiritual labor. The reason this resonates so deeply in your being is because you are one of the rare few doing sacred energy work around the clock, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether you consciously realize it or not. Have you noticed that even when you are simply sitting still, not speaking a word, you can feel something shifting around you? That is because your aura, that divine electromagnetic field surrounding your spirit, is not passive, it is active. It is filtering the emotions, projections, anxieties, and unspoken traumas of those in your environment. In a crowded room, your presence acts like a divine sieve, absorbing and transmuting the collective heaviness that others are too unconscious to process. But here's the catch: it doesn't stop when you leave the room. Even when you're alone, the weight continues. Why? Because as a chosen one, you are carrying much more than your own life's energy. You are carrying the unresolved energies of your bloodline, the unhealed wounds of your ancestors, layered with echoes from past lives, intertwined with the immense spiritual purpose God has placed upon your soul in this incarnation. And if that weren't enough, you also bear the subtle, often unseen expectations of a world that intuitively senses there is something different about you, something they cannot name but they can feel. Does this explain why you sometimes feel so drained after simply existing in certain spaces or among certain people? Consider this. The prophet Daniel experienced great spiritual exhaustion after divine visions. In Daniel 8:27 he wrote, "I, Daniel, was worn out. I lay exhausted for several days. Then I got up and went about the king's business." Even one of the most divinely favored men of Scripture was brought to the edge of his physical limits by the weight of spiritual experience. Are you starting to see the sacred nature of what you are enduring? You may have found yourself frustrated at times, wondering why others around you seem to move through life with effortless energy, while you feel as though invisible weights are strapped to your soul. But here is the truth. You are engaged in a battle they cannot see. You are performing energetic and spiritual labor at dimensions they are not designed to access. And often this means you become a lightning rod for unseen energies, simply because your spirit shines brighter and attracts both light and darkness alike. The world may misinterpret this. Have people called you lazy, distant, withdrawn? Have loved ones questioned why you retreat, why you need more rest, why you sometimes seem emotionally unavailable? Understand, this is not because you are broken or lacking. On the contrary, it is because you are carrying more than most souls were ever meant to hold. Imagine someone climbing a mountain with 100 pounds on their back, while others carry nothing. Would they not move more slowly, need more rest, and feel more fatigued? Your spirit is doing exactly that on an energetic level. Elon Musk, one of the most driven and visionary minds of our time, once revealed that he works so intensely that he sometimes wakes up feeling mentally and physically battered. Though his work is technological, the principle applies. Those who carry great missions, whether earthly or spiritual, will inevitably feel the toll. Similarly, Princess Diana often spoke of the emotional exhaustion she felt being a beacon of compassion and empathy within the rigid royal system. She was absorbing the energies of millions, much like what chosen ones experience on a spiritual level. And yet, in your quiet moments you may ask, am I weak? Why can't I just shake this off and keep going like everyone else? Chosen one, hear this. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are built for something extraordinary. The exhaustion you feel is not failure. It is confirmation that your spirit is operating on levels most cannot comprehend. As Isaiah 40:29 reminds us, He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Your current weariness is a prelude to supernatural replenishment. But first, you must understand and honor your process. Think of someone like Nelson Mandela. During his decades of imprisonment, he was not just enduring physical confinement, he was carrying the spiritual hope of a nation. The weight of that mission pressed on him daily, even in solitude. When he emerged, he carried the scars of that invisible labor, yet he also emerged with unmatched spiritual authority. Do you not see the same potential mirrored in your journey? When you walk into a room and feel its heaviness before a single word is spoken, when you absorb the unspoken grief in a loved one's eyes, when your own body aches after encountering certain people or places, this is spiritual fatigue, not burnout. Burnout comes from overexertion of the flesh. Spiritual fatigue stems from unseen labor of the soul, and yet society rarely makes room to acknowledge this sacred exhaustion. This is why Scripture encourages us in Galatians 6:9, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Yes, chosen one, there is a harvest. The energy you are expending now, the burdens you are silently transmuting, will yield divine fruit in ways you cannot yet imagine. But you must care for your vessel. You must learn when to retreat, when to replenish, when to guard your energy fiercely. Oprah Winfrey, despite her extraordinary public life, often speaks of the necessity of solitude, meditation, and energetic cleansing to maintain her spiritual strength. Without such practices, even the most powerful chosen ones risk depletion. Are you making space in your life to protect your spirit, or are you allowing the world's demands to erode your reserves? And let us not forget the words of Jesus himself in Matthew 11:28. "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Chosen one, divine rest is not a luxury, it is a necessity. You are engaged in battles that others do not perceive. You must honor your need for restoration without guilt or shame. Consider the life of Mother Teresa. Her seemingly tireless compassion was undergirded by deep spiritual practice and periods of profound exhaustion, a testament to the price of serving as a vessel for divine love in a broken world. You too walk this path. You too are a vessel of light amidst the shadows. So are you ready to stop judging yourself for your weariness? Will you begin to honor the profound work your spirit is doing? Will you embrace rest as a sacred act of obedience to the one who called you? And will you trust that though the world may not understand your fatigue, heaven does, and heaven rewards those who persevere? Remember, 2 Corinthians 4:16 assures us, "Therefore we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day." You are being renewed even now. Chosen one, stand firm, rest when needed, and never forget, you are carrying a purpose greater than the world can see. Chosen one, do you ever find yourself in situations now where what once seemed normal, easy, light-hearted, even enjoyable, suddenly feels unbearable? There was a time when you could sit through hours of small talk without much thought, laugh politely at trivial banter, engage in social games just to blend in. You used to be able to put on the expected smile, nod at conversations that carried no substance, and play along with the crowd without questioning the energetic cost. But now your entire being rejects it. Something inside you has shifted, radically. Have you noticed how your body physically responds when the energy in a room feels off? Why is it that you can no longer tolerate what you used to brush aside so easily? It's not an attitude problem. It's not arrogance. It's not that you believe you are superior to others. This change is something much deeper. It is spiritual. You are undergoing a profound purification process. When you reach a certain level of spiritual evolution, everything that is unaligned with your truth becomes not just unpleasant, but almost unbearable. Your soul, once more adaptable to the noise and chaos of the external world, now recoils at anything that is false, shallow, or energetically toxic. Have you felt that tension in your body, the tightness in your chest, the knot in your stomach, the subtle headache that creeps in when you're surrounded by fake laughter or empty conversation? That is your spirit signaling to you that you've outgrown those frequencies. You are no longer built for pretense. You can pick up on the lies people tell themselves before they even open their mouths. You feel the dissonance between their words and their true emotions. You sense the emotional masks they wear, the scripted roles they perform to survive in a world that fears authentic vulnerability, and where once you may have played along, now you simply can't. Jesus told us in John 8:32, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." And what does freedom bring? Chosen one, it brings clarity. It brings the inability to settle for less than truth. That is what you are experiencing now. Spiritual freedom that no longer tolerates chains of illusion. Think about the journey of Maya Angelou. Early in her life, she navigated the social expectations imposed upon her, conforming outwardly while her spirit longed for authenticity. As she matured spiritually, she refused to suppress her truth. She spoke boldly, wrote bravely, and chose depth over shallow acceptance. You too are now at that threshold. Will you honor it, even when it makes you feel isolated at times? As your sensitivity sharpens, you'll find that shallow spaces drain you faster than ever before. The moment someone engages in gossip or trivial distractions, you feel your energy contract. The disconnection between the small talk and the deeper currents you feel beneath it becomes too stark to ignore. And what once passed for normal social interaction now feels like a betrayal of your spirit. Why is this happening? Because your soul craves alignment now. You need depth. You crave truth, and you can no longer force yourself to be entertained by conversations that pull you away from your spiritual center. You would rather sit in silence than pretend to care about matters that hold no resonance for your evolving spirit. Does this resonate with you, chosen one? Are you seeing how this stage marks a sacred signpost on your path of growth? Consider the story of Nikola Tesla. Known for his genius, Tesla also carried an extraordinary sensitivity to energy and truth. He would isolate himself, rather than engage in meaningless conversation or social games that drained his creative and spiritual force. Like you, Tesla honored the purification of his energy. Are you willing to do the same, even if it means standing alone at times? Ephesians 4:25 reminds us, "Therefore each of you must put off falsehood and speak truthfully to your neighbor, for we are all members of one body, and chosen one, that begins within." Before you can speak truth outwardly, your spirit demands that you strip away inner falsehood and outer pretense. You are not meant to dilute your frequency to fit in. You are called to raise the vibration of the spaces you enter, sometimes by speaking truth, sometimes simply by refusing to participate in what is false. But what happens when others do not understand? You may already be experiencing this. Friends or family who once felt comfortable with your presence may now feel unsettled. They might say you've changed, that you're too serious or not fun anymore. Have you heard these words lately? If so, know this: it is not you who is rejecting them. It is their old patterns clashing with your elevated energy, and that friction will either inspire them to grow or push them away. Neither outcome is yours to control. Think of Malala Yousafzai. After surviving an attempt on her life, she emerged transformed, her soul purified by purpose. She could no longer tolerate distractions from her mission. Social games became irrelevant. Every word she spoke carried weight and intention. Her life became a testament to truth over triviality. Chosen one, are you prepared to walk this path with the same clarity? This stage of purification is both empowering and lonely. It strips away the false comforts of conformity. But as Proverbs 13:20 tells us, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. You are being positioned to attract higher connections, relationships built on authenticity, depth, and shared divine purpose. Will you trust the process even as familiar faces fade away? And remember the life of Leonardo da Vinci, a polymath whose mind reached heights few could comprehend. He often withdrew from the chatter of the world to protect his genius. He sought solitude, not out of disdain for others, but out of reverence for the sanctity of his creative and spiritual work. Chosen one, your mission is no less sacred. Will you guard your energy with the same devotion? Romans 12:2 exhorts us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." You are being transformed. Your mind, spirit, and energetic field are being renewed. This is why the old patterns no longer fit. It is why pretense now feels poisonous. You are not broken. You are evolving. Chosen one, have you ever walked into a room and suddenly felt an overwhelming wave of sadness, anger, or anxiety, even though not a single word had been spoken? Perhaps you've wondered in those moments, why do I feel this way? Is this my emotion, or am I picking it up from somewhere else? This is not your imagination. It is the reality of living with an empathic aura, a spiritual sensitivity that only the most powerful of God's chosen ones carry. You see, your energy field is not merely an observer, it is an absorber. It does not simply notice vibrations, it pulls them in, often without your conscious permission. Have you questioned why you sometimes cry without a clear reason? Why certain crowds feel like they're suffocating you? Why certain crowds feel like they're suffocating you? Why a simple conversation with someone who is silently struggling leaves you drained and anxious for hours afterward? Chosen one, this is not weakness, this is not brokenness. It is a sacred symptom of spiritual openness, the natural result of your empathic gift operating at full capacity. But like any powerful tool, it must be wielded with wisdom, or it will consume you. The Word of God acknowledges this kind of deep spiritual sensitivity. In Romans 12:15, we are instructed, "Rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn." As a chosen one, your spirit is naturally attuned to this calling. You mourn with those who mourn even when they never voice their pain aloud. You feel what others suppress. You sense what others ignore. But here's the crucial truth. You were never meant to carry it all. Consider the life of Princess Diana. Widely regarded as the people's princess, she was deeply empathic. Many reported how she would break down in tears after visiting hospitals or speaking with the sick and wounded, not because she was fragile, but because her aura absorbed the silent suffering of those she encountered. Her openness connected her to millions, but it also exacted a personal toll. Does this sound familiar to you, chosen one? The danger of such unchecked openness is clear. If you do not learn to discern what is yours and what is not, you risk falling into chronic fatigue. emotional confusion, and even depression. This is why you sometimes feel lost in a fog of feeling, unable to tell where your emotions end and another's begin. You are absorbing too much. You are carrying more than your spirit was designed to hold alone. Have you asked yourself lately, am I protecting my energy, or am I unconsciously allowing everything in? Remember this. Jesus himself demonstrated boundaries around his spiritual openness. In Mark 1:35 we read, "Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Even the Son of God withdrew to recharge and reset his spirit after serving others. You must do the same. Isolation is not selfishness, it is spiritual hygiene for those chosen to walk with such an open heart." The life of actor Robin Williams offers another poignant example. Known for bringing joy to millions, Williams privately battled waves of emotional intensity, often reflecting the unseen suffering he absorbed from those around him. He was highly sensitive, picking up energies from everyone he met. His story reminds us that without conscious energetic protection, even the brightest souls can be weighed down by the world's pain. So how do you begin to manage this gift? Chosen one. First, cultivate awareness. The next time you feel a sudden emotional shift, pause and ask, is this truly mine, or am I absorbing someone else's energy? You'll be surprised how often the heaviness you carry isn't originating from within you. Second, practice energetic cleansing. Through prayer, meditation, and intentional release, you can return burdens to God instead of storing them in your spirit. Philippians 4:6-7 offers comfort and instruction. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God will guard your hearts and your minds. Let God guard your heart. You were never meant to be the emotional storage vessel for every soul you encounter. Albert Einstein, though known for his intellect, also possessed an intense sensitivity to human suffering. He once said, "Our task must be to free ourselves by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty." His empathic nature fueled his passion for peace and justice, but he also needed solitude to recover from the emotional weight this sensitivity brought. Chosen one, will you give yourself that same permission to care deeply but not to drown in what you absorb? Remember the promise in Psalm 55:22, "Cast your cares on the Lord and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken." You are righteous, chosen one, but to remain unshaken, you must consciously release the energies you pick up. Otherwise, the spiritual fatigue will only grow. And consider the example of Mother Teresa. She served among the poorest and sickest, daily absorbing the sorrow of the forgotten. Yet she carved out time for deep prayer and silence, knowing that without replenishment, her spirit could not sustain the weight of her calling. You are walking a similar path. Will you adopt similar practices to preserve your inner light? Chosen one, no matter how many people have surrounded you over the years, friends, classmates, colleagues, even family, have you not always carried a quiet sense of not fully belonging? Have you ever asked yourself, why do I feel this way even when I'm loved, even when I'm accepted? Understand this. It was never about being unloved. It was never about being unwanted. The root of this feeling is deeper. It is about being unmatched. And this, dear chosen one, is one of the strongest confirmations that you truly are called to a higher path. Since childhood, you've likely been labeled quiet, strange, intense, sensitive, different. How many times did they misunderstand the way your spirit moved through this world? How often did you wonder if you should change, dull your light, soften your truth, mask your depth, just to fit in with a world moving at a surface-level pace that never resonated with your soul? And yet, no matter how you tried, something inside you refused to fully conform. Why? Because that inner knowing, that persistent whisper from God, was reminding you that you were not designed to blend in. You were never meant to disappear into the background of a world that resists true depth and divine authenticity. John 15:19 speaks directly to this. If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. Do you see now why you have always felt set apart? Your calling as a chosen one was never to be normal. You were marked from the beginning to stand out in ways that provoke healing, awaken awareness, and yes, sometimes trigger discomfort in others. Think of Albert Einstein, whose profound intellect and unconventional thinking often left him isolated from his peers. Though celebrated now, in his youth he was considered odd, slow, even difficult. But the truth is, he was simply unmatched. His mind operated on a frequency that the world had yet to catch up to. Chosen one, can you relate? Have you noticed how your thoughts, insights, and spiritual perceptions often place you several steps ahead of those around you? Feeling like an outsider is not a curse, it is confirmation. The unease you feel when trying to force yourself into spaces that do not fit is your spirit protecting you. You were not built for the world as it is. You were built to help shift it into what it is meant to become. This is why shallow relationships never satisfy you. This is why forced connections drain you. And this is why, no matter how many acquaintances you gather, true recognition, that sacred moment when someone truly sees you, remains rare and precious. Have you ever wondered why loneliness lingers, even in a room full of people? Why no amount of external validation can quiet that inner longing to be truly known? Understand this, chosen one. Your loneliness is not a flaw. It is not proof that you are unworthy of connection. It is a signal of your unique frequency. Few can see you because few are spiritually awake enough to recognize what you truly carry. 1 Peter 2:9 reminds us, "But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession." When God sets you apart, the world will sense the difference, even if they cannot articulate it. This difference is what stirs reactions in people. Some will be drawn to you with awe, others will be triggered by your presence. Have you noticed this pattern? The room shifts when you enter. Energy changes, sometimes positively, sometimes with resistance. This is the mark of your calling. Consider Frida Kahlo. Known for her intense, deeply authentic artistry, Kahlo lived much of her life feeling like an outsider. Her physical pain, her emotional depth, and her raw expression of truth often set her apart from both societal norms and artistic conventions of her time. Yet through embracing her unmatched essence, she helped to shift cultural narratives and awaken deeper empathy. Chosen one, are you ready to embrace your unmatched nature, knowing it carries the power to awaken others? The ache of not belonging is sharpened when we seek validation in spaces we were never meant to fit into. Have you asked yourself recently, am I trying to be accepted by those who are not meant to see me? Am I judging myself by standards that were never written for me? The danger lies not in being different, but in forgetting why you are. When chosen ones dim their light to conform, the world is deprived of the very medicine their soul was sent to offer. Romans 12:2 offers clear instruction. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Every time you resist the urge to fit in for the sake of comfort, you honor your divine assignment. You are here to be a catalyst, not a copy. Your life is meant to shift atmospheres, not blend into them. Nikola Tesla, another brilliant mind who lived largely in isolation, once said, "Be alone, that is the secret of invention. Be alone, that is when ideas are born." He understood that the unmatched path often requires solitude, not because one is unworthy of connection, but because one's energy must remain clear enough to birth new paradigms. Chosen one, will you honor your need for spiritual solitude when the world pressures you to conform? Remember Psalm 139:13-14, "For you created my inmost being, you knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made." You were intricately designed to carry a frequency that this world desperately needs, even if it has yet to fully recognize it. Think also of Oprah Winfrey. Her early life was marked by rejection, abuse, and alienation. Yet her unmatched spirit, once seen as too intense or too much, ultimately became the very force that transformed her into a global beacon of wisdom and empowerment. What seemed like isolation was preparation. Could the same be true for you? Chosen one of the most confusing, painful, and deeply human symptoms you will experience on this path of power and spiritual awakening is this: the sudden disappearance of people who once seemed permanent in your life. Have you noticed this? No matter how many years you've known them, no matter how deeply connected you once were, one day it begins, the connection fades, they stop reaching out, the conversations become hollow echoes of what they used to be. You sense a growing distance you can't explain, a gap widening between your spirit and theirs. And the hardest part, often there is no closure, no fight, no reason given, just silence. At first you do what so many of us do. You blame yourself. You replay old conversations. You ask, did I say the wrong thing? Did I do something to push them away? You overthink the silences. You comb through memories, searching for an answer, for something you can fix. But eventually, if you listen closely to your spirit, a deeper truth will begin to reveal itself. This is not about fault. This is about frequency. As your spiritual energy rises, as God elevates you, heals you, awakens you, your vibration changes. And when that happens, the people in your life who cannot match that frequency will naturally begin to fall away. It's not personal. It's not because you are better than them. It's because your paths are no longer aligned. Chosen one, you are outgrowing dynamics that were rooted in your old self, in who you used to be before this level of awakening. Can you see it now? Are you ready to release the guilt that has tried to tie you to what no longer fits? John 3:30 speaks to this process clearly. He must become greater, I must become less. As you increase in spiritual stature, some relationships will decrease. This is the natural order of transformation. You cannot expand and remain tethered to what was. The old vibration will always feel uncomfortable around the new. Consider the journey of Nelson Mandela. After his release from prison, many of his old companions could no longer walk with him at the level of vision and leadership he had now embraced. His rise meant leaving behind some relationships that no longer supported his divine mission. This is not betrayal, it is alignment. Chosen one, are you willing to trust that alignment over attachment? You see, some people will resent your growth. They will say you've changed, and they will be right, you have. Others will simply drift away, not out of malice, but because your presence now confronts them with their own unhealed places. Without even trying, your existence begins to mirror back the work they've avoided. And for those unwilling to face their shadows, your light becomes uncomfortable. Have you noticed this happening? Have you felt the sting of friends or even family pulling away as you step more fully into your purpose? Know this is one of the hardest lessons of awakening, and one few prepare you for the grief of letting go of people who cannot come with you. It hurts, it confuses you, it leaves you feeling deeply alone at times, but it is necessary. Not every soul is meant to walk your entire path. Some were only destined to accompany you through a chapter, not the whole book. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Relationships too have seasons. Some must end so new, aligned connections can begin. Will you have the courage to release with love what no longer serves your becoming? Think of Oprah Winfrey. As she ascended in influence and consciousness, she spoke openly about the painful process of losing relationships that could not withstand the weight of her growth. Yet she also affirmed that new, higher vibrational connections arrived to replace those lost relationships that supported her true essence, not her past identity. And this is what I urge you to remember, chosen one. Every person who exits your life during this transition is making space for someone who will see you fully, not for who you were, but for who you are becoming. The ones who are truly aligned with your spirit will not leave you guessing. They will feel like peace, like clarity, like home. Will you trust that God is orchestrating divine replacements even now? Isaiah 43:18-19 offers a promise to anchor you. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Can you embrace the new thing God is doing, even if it requires walking through the valley of relational loss first? Frida Kahlo's life offers another powerful reflection of this truth. As she evolved as an artist and individual, many of her relationships shifted and dissolved, not because she loved less, but because she grew beyond the confines of what those dynamics could hold. Her path demanded authenticity over attachment. Does yours? And so, chosen one, I ask you now, will you stop blaming yourself for the relationships that fall away? Will you stop clinging to what your spirit knows is finished? Will you release those who can no longer walk with you, trusting that their departure is a divine clearing, not a rejection? Psalm 34 Haupten Toro Eis, the Psalm 4, was close to the broken-hearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. In your moments of grief, God is near. You are not walking this alone. The path may feel narrow now, but it is leading you to a circle of souls who will honor your true frequency. Consider also the story of Malala Yousafzai. As she rose into her mission of global advocacy, many childhood connections could not follow her into that level of calling. Her light required new aligned companions who could support her purpose without resistance. You are walking a similar path. And so I leave you with this, chosen one. Let them go. Release them with love. Thank them for the chapter they shared with you. But do not anchor your spirit to a vibration you have already outgrown. The loneliness you feel is a sacred space being prepared for divine connections that will see you, support you, and walk beside you in truth. Are you ready to trust that what is falling away is making room for what is coming? Will you honor your growth, even when it costs you the comfort of the familiar? The path of the chosen is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Chosen one, if you're reading this, you've likely been through this strange, bewildering experience more than once. Your body begins to act in ways that seem completely out of sync with logic or physical explanation. One day there's a deep pulsing pressure in your chest, not pain but an undeniable force. The next day there's random buzzing in your arms, tingling in your spine, or waves of heat surging through your body without any clear reason. You begin searching for answers. You Google symptoms, you visit doctors, you try supplements, physical adjustments, rest, and each time the response is the same. You're perfectly healthy. Blood work is normal, scans show nothing. But deep down you know the truth. This is not normal. It doesn't feel normal. Have you ever wondered why this happens? Why your body suddenly becomes a landscape of sensations that no one can explain? Here is the truth most people are never taught. What you are experiencing is not purely physical, it is energetic. As one of God's chosen ones, your soul is going through a profound process of inner realignment and expansion, and that process often begins by communicating through the body. When your soul is stretching into a new dimension, when it is activating deeper layers of divine purpose, your physical vessel must adapt to accommodate the higher frequency. And this adaptation creates pressure, sometimes literal, sometimes electrical, sometimes felt as vibration or heat. John 16:13 promises us, "But when He, the Spirit of truth, comes, He will guide you into all the truth." And this truth includes the language of your body. As your spirit awakens, the physical becomes a messenger, not a malfunction. Have you considered that your strange symptoms may be signs of spiritual upgrade, not illness? Think of Nikola Tesla, who often spoke of sensing vibrations in his body when he was immersed in moments of great invention and insight. His nervous system was attuned to higher frequencies, and his body responded accordingly. Chosen one, you are experiencing something similar, though the path of spiritual awakening may be even more intense. Let's break this down. The tightness in your chest? That's your heart center, your spiritual heart, opening to allow more divine love and energy to flow through you. The pressure in your forehead? That's your third eye, the seat of spiritual perception, adjusting to new levels of clarity and insight. The buzzing in your limbs? That's your energy circulation speeding up, preparing your body to handle higher states of consciousness. These are not symptoms of sickness. They are symptoms of spiritual upgrade. And yet, because the world does not teach this, most people panic when these sensations arise. They mistake them for problems rather than proof of transformation. Have you caught yourself falling into fear when your body begins to shift? Will you now begin to see these signals through a lens of faith rather than fear? 2 Corinthians 5:7 reminds us, "For we live by faith, not by sight." Chosen one, your path demands that you trust what your spirit knows even when the physical evidence is unclear. You are being transformed from the inside out. Your nervous system, your cells, your entire energetic blueprint is recalibrating to match the new vibration your soul is now embodying. Consider the life of Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern nursing. She often reported profound physical symptoms, fatigue, chills, waves of energy during her spiritual awakenings and moments of deep calling. Though misunderstood at the time, these were signs of her inner transformation, preparing her to birth a mission that would change the world. You may also notice that your sensitivity has increased dramatically. Bright lights now feel harsher, loud noises overwhelm your senses, your body craves grounding, walks in nature, time by water, connection to the earth. It craves hydration, as water helps conduct the new energy moving through you. When you ignore these nudges, the body responds by becoming louder, not to punish you, but to capture your attention. Have you been listening? Or have you been resisting the wisdom of your body? Romans 12:4 offers a powerful reminder. Therefore, I urge you to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Your body is a sacred vessel. It is not betraying you, it is communicating with you. Will you honor its role in your spiritual ascension? Think of Steve Jobs, who during his spiritual explorations in India and through various forms of meditation, experienced intense bodily shifts. He spoke of periods where his body would feel flooded with energy, his senses sharpened, his perception altered. He understood that these were signs of expansion, not illness. That said, chosen one, it is crucial to note, this does not mean you should ignore medical issues. Always trust your body and rule out physical causes when necessary. Honor the wisdom of both science and spirit. But when everything checks out clean and yet the sensations persist, take a deeper look. The body speaks the language of the soul, and for chosen ones, that language becomes more intense as you rise. Psalm 139:14 declares, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your body is wonderfully made, designed to adapt to the extraordinary demands of your divine mission. The process may be uncomfortable, but it is holy. Will you embrace it with gratitude rather than resistance? Consider also Maya Angelou, who during her creative and spiritual breakthroughs spoke of nights where she would wake with her body humming, unable to sleep, not from stress but from the energy of her expanding spirit, demanding expression. You too may be waking at odd hours, feeling restless, sensing unseen currents moving through you. This is part of the process. And so, chosen one, will you begin to trust what your body is telling you? Will you shift from fear to curiosity, from panic to presence? Will you nourish your vessel with the grounding, hydration, rest and nature it craves, knowing that these supports are vital for stabilizing your new vibration? You are not broken. You are not sick. You are being transformed. What you are feeling is real, and it is sacred. Something powerful is waking up inside you, something ancient, something divine. Will you honor this process with reverence and care? Chosen one, have you ever felt a presence within you? A quiet voice, a subtle knowing that's been with you for as long as you can remember. Maybe it didn't speak to you in clear words. Maybe it didn't shout or demand. But in the moments when the world around you fell silent, in stillness, in sadness, in solitude, you could feel it tugging at your spirit. It whispered, you are here for more. Not more in the sense of fame or fortune, not in a way that feeds your ego, but in a way that weighs upon your heart with a deep, undeniable sense of responsibility. Have you ever wondered why? As you grew older, life demanded your attention. You were taught to follow the path the world had paved for you. Go to school, get a job, follow the rules, fit in. And so you tried. You checked all the boxes. You played the part. But no matter how diligently you performed, no matter how many outward accomplishments you collected, that sense of higher purpose refused to be silenced. It didn't fade with time. It didn't disappear beneath the noise of everyday life. Instead, it stayed quiet, patient, and persistent, reminding you that you were not here merely to exist. You were here to serve something far greater than yourself. Have you questioned why this inner calling won't leave you? Have you asked yourself, why do I feel this pull when others seem content to just live their lives? The answer is simple. Because you are chosen. Because the one who created you embedded a divine mission into your very soul, and that mission cannot be ignored, no matter how hard you try to suppress it. Isaiah 30:21 offers us this beautiful truth. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. That voice, chosen one, is the one you've felt since childhood. It has guided you through uncertainty, through distraction, through seasons of wandering. And now, as your spiritual sensitivity increases, it is growing louder. Why? Because the time is drawing near for you to fully step into what you were called to do. The challenge is that often you will feel the call long before you see the path. You may not yet know what you are being called to. The details may remain blurry. You sense that you are supposed to do something, to be someone, to build something of great significance, and yet the clarity you crave has not arrived. That uncertainty can feel unbearable at times. You may mistake it for being lost, stuck, or confused. But hear this, chosen one, you are not lost. You are being prepared. Chosen ones frequently receive the feeling before the vision. The inner fire comes first. The spiritual architecture is constructed within you long before the external opportunities arise. Why? Because you must be made ready on the inside to carry the weight of what is coming on the outside. Have you noticed how your soul seems restless lately? How it feels as though you are waiting, but for what? That is the preparation phase at work. Psalm 37:23 reminds us, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way." Your steps are being ordered even now. Though you may not see the entire path, each moment of preparation is perfectly designed to equip you for what is ahead. Trust this process. Think of Nelson Mandela. For decades, he carried the fire of purpose in his heart while imprisoned, unsure when or how he would be released to fulfill his mission. The preparation phase was long and often agonizing, but when the moment came, he was ready, not just politically but spiritually and emotionally. Chosen one, could your waiting season be forging in you the strength you will soon need? This calling manifests in ways that may seem strange to others, and even to yourself. You begin to clean your environment obsessively, removing clutter as if you are making room for something unseen. You cut ties with people you once tolerated, not out of spite, but because their energy no longer matches your evolving vibration. You crave silence. You write more. You observe more. You lose interest in distractions that once consumed you. Your spirit is tuning itself to a higher frequency. Are you noticing this shift? Think of Maya Angelou, who during periods of profound creative and spiritual transition would withdraw from public life to recalibrate. She wrote in solitude, seeking silence, knowing that the external noise could drown out the inner voice she was meant to heed. You too may feel this need to retreat. Honor it. The most frustrating part of this phase is the waiting. You feel ready to act, to move, to build, and yet the doors remain closed. You ask, why am I waiting? What am I waiting for? The truth is, you are not waiting in vain. You are being reshaped, restructured, and realigned for a purpose greater than you can yet comprehend. And when the time comes, you will move without hesitation, because the foundation within you will be unshakable. Ecclesiastes 3:11 tells us, "He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart." That sense of divine timing is encoded within you. The eternity in your heart is what creates this restlessness. You are wired to fulfill a timeless mission, and the preparation is as sacred as the fulfillment itself. Consider the journey of Florence Nightingale. Before revolutionizing the field of nursing, she felt a deep, unexplainable calling pulling her away from the conventional path her family expected. She withdrew, studied, prepared, often in isolation, until the world finally opened the doors she was destined to walk through. Chosen one, do you trust that your own doors are being prepared even now? And here is something vital to remember. You do not need to explain this feeling to anyone. Most people will not understand it. They are too distracted, too tethered to the world's rhythms to hear the call you are tuned into. That does not make you crazy. It makes you chosen. Will you choose to trust your knowing even when others doubt it? John 15:16 affirms this truth. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last. You have been chosen and appointed. The fruit of your calling will endure beyond your lifetime. The preparation you are enduring now is necessary to sustain the weight of this fruit. Think of Oprah Winfrey. Long before she became a household name, she felt an undeniable pull toward a purpose that transcended television. Her early life was filled with adversity and uncertainty, but she trusted the call, followed the preparation process, and when her moment came, she was ready to carry the platform with integrity and power. And so, will you surrender to the preparation phase? Will you trust the waiting, even when it tests your patience? Will you honor the strange behaviors your spirit compels you toward, the cleaning, the writing, the solitude, knowing they are signs of your soul aligning with its future? The path of the chosen one begins long before the world notices you. The voice you hear inside, that persistent pull towards something greater, is not fantasy. It is not delusion. It is your future calling to you across time and space. Are you listening? Are you willing to follow its guidance even when clarity has not yet come? You are not lost. You are not stuck. You are not confused. You are being prepared for a mission only you can fulfill. And when the time comes, chosen one, you will step into it with a power and authority that no one, not even you, could have imagined. Until then, trust the process, trust the voice, trust the preparation. The world may not see it yet, but heaven does, and heaven is watching you with great expectation. Beloved chosen one, if you felt these symptoms resonate deep within your body and your soul, if while listening you kept thinking, yes, that's me, I felt this but didn't know why, then understand this: you are not broken, you are not imagining it, and most importantly, you are not alone. What you've been going through isn't random, it isn't happening to just anyone. It is happening to you because your spirit was built for something far more powerful than the ordinary life the world tries to offer. These experiences, the physical shifts, the emotional waves, the sudden isolation, the relentless calling, they are not problems, they are confirmations, they are signals from your higher self, from the divine blueprint within you, reminding you that you were never meant to walk the common path. Being a chosen one was never a promise of ease or comfort. It was a covenant of purpose, and purpose, my friend, requires strength, strength that few are willing to cultivate, strength that even fewer can carry. You will walk alone at times. You will be misunderstood, even by those closest to you. You will face moments where giving up seems easier than continuing forward. But if you keep walking, if you keep listening to that inner voice that refuses to be silenced, you will awaken deeper truths than you ever thought possible. You will transform pain into power. You will become a beacon of healing, clarity, and authenticity in a world drowning in distraction. And one day, perhaps sooner than you think, you will realize that every strange symptom, every difficult loss, every restless night and unanswered question was preparation for the exact moment you are about to step into now. If this message felt personal, if it felt as though someone finally put your experience into words, it's because your soul recognized its own reflection. Your spirit knows this truth because it was designed to live it. That's why you were drawn here. That's why you found this message at this very moment. There are no accidents on the path of the chosen ones. So here is your next step. Protect your energy. Honor your intuition without apology. Guard your peace like the sacred treasure it is. And most importantly, keep listening to that inner voice, the one that others may dismiss but you know is your deepest guide. That voice already knows the way. It always has. The question is, will you trust it fully this time? And now, I want to hear from you. Let's turn this into a living conversation. Go down to the comments and tell me which of these symptoms hit you the hardest. Which one confirmed what you had already suspected deep inside? Which one gave you the courage to embrace what you've been feeling instead of doubting it? I read every single comment because this space isn't for the masses. It's for the few who are finally ready to remember who they really are. If that's you, I invite you to also subscribe so we can continue walking this path together. I promise you this is just the beginning. And before we close, I want to pause and say this from my heart. Thank you. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for your presence, your openness, your willingness to receive this message. Your energy here is felt and deeply appreciated. And to those of you who feel called to support this work through the Super Thanks feature, please know that your generosity means the world to me and helps keep this space alive and growing. But whether you donate or not, hear me clearly. I am already deeply grateful for your support in simply being here, watching, listening, and adding your energy to this community of chosen ones. You are valued beyond measure. As we close today, I want to speak a blessing over you. May your path be illuminated with clarity and strength. May you release all guilt for who you've outgrown and walk forward with a heart open to new, aligned connections. May your body continue to adjust gracefully to the powerful energy rising within you. May your soul trust the timing of its own awakening, and may you always remember you were chosen not because you are perfect, but because you are willing to listen, willing to grow, willing to rise. You were born for such a time as this. Now is your moment. Now is the time to honor the call you've carried since childhood, and no matter what comes next, Know this, you are never alone. There is a family of chosen ones walking this path with you, many of whom you've yet to meet, but all of whom are connected through the same divine pulse of purpose. So go forward now with courage. Chosen one, protect your light. Listen to your knowing and trust you are right where you need to be. Until next time, stay blessed, stay grounded, and keep walking in your truth. I'll see you soon.